Okay, so what's the idea of this kind of classes that we are going to have? So remember that this is not like a normal TPAS, so we are not going to be focusing the, in develop the PDF or the guides that you have to develop. So we are not going to focus in that part. So the idea of these classes is that I'm going to give you like some tips, or I'm going to teach you the most important topics in English. I mean, in English or in a new language, there are a lot of topics. But we are going to focus in the most important ones, okay? So the idea is that you try to learn, more things. I know that maybe some of you are really good at English, and I love that. But I also know that there are some of you who don't have many, you don't have a lot of knowledge about English. Maybe you have the English that you learned when you were at school, and that's okay. I mean, it's normal. Maybe you fell in love when you were at a school of English, and that's okay. Yeah. But first of all, before starting, I would like to ask you some questions. I would like to know the English you have right now. So I don't know if somebody wants to tell me something, just to know your English level. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. Okay, but before that, did you understand what I just said? Or no?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, that's good. Si alguien no me entiende, me puede decir, porque pues la idea es que, a ver, normalmente en una clase no se va a mejorar tanto en la parte de escucha, pero la idea es que igual todos aprendan los temas, como les dije, nos vamos a enfocar en los temas más importantes del inglés, ¿no? No solo, y les estaré dando ciertos tips también de enseñanza para cuando ustedes empiecen a su labor de docente, pero si hay alguien que de pronto no, estaré intentando hablar la mayoría en inglés, tal cual cosita como para enfocarme en español, y pues, como les dije, no me estaré enfocando tanto en la parte de la guía, sino más bien en ciertos temas que son importantes. Pues hoy sí voy a tocar un tema que les va a ayudar al desarrollo de la guía. Son ciertos tiempos, pero bueno. Now let's switch to English. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. So my name is Wilmer Castillo. I study foreign languages at the UPTC University. I speak English, of course, Spanish, French, and a bit of German. I also have a specialization in educational management. I was working in Duitama at a school like maybe 2 or 3 years. I don't remember very well, but I had to I was like teaching some different ages. So that was a really good experience. And right now, well, then I came back here to Vélez. I live in Vélez, Santander. I don't know if you know where it is. So right now I am, a teacher who is working in the UNAT, and I'm also working in the UTS. Do you know UTS? Have you ever heard about that?
No, teacher.
That's like, well, technology. Here, students only study like a technology, and then they go to Bucaramanga to, keep their professional. So yeah, it's a good university. But you know why I love to teach like you? Because, for example, when you teach to some students who don't want to learn English, because, I teach to some people who are studying like some different careers. I don't remember exactly the names, but they're not like focused in learning English. I mean, they're studying English because they have to, but not because they love it. So I love to teach people to people like you, because you are focused and you really want to learn English, and I love that. So I don't know, somebody wants to tell something before starting? ¿Alguien quiere decir algo en inglés como para ir sabiendo más o menos qué nivel tienen o qué nivel consideran ustedes que tienen? O de pronto alguien que diga, no sé, yo estoy con el inglés del colegio, bueno, es como para saber. Who wanna talk?
Hi, teacher, can you hear me?
Yes, Jessica, I hear you. I mean, is Sharik or Jessica?
Jessica.
Okay, Jessica, okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Well, I think I can have a conversation, but I need practice and I need to learn more vocabulary. But I think I can introduce myself and I can have a basic conversation.
Okay, that's great, that's great. And I don't know, did you study in any institute or just the English that you learned at school?
When I was in Colombia, yes, I went to Mayer Institute.
Mhm.
And I took some classes, but they didn't practice speaking too much.
Okay. So where are you living right now?
Excuse me?
Where are you living right now? Because you told me that you're not in Colombia.
Yes, I'm living in New York.
Okay, that's great. How
Yeah,
long?
that's when this is where my practice started, because at the beginning I was working with Hispanics. I
Mhm.
didn't want to speak in English because I was nervous
Mhm.
always. And then I pushed myself, and then I started like becoming better.
Okay, that's great. And how long have you been there?
5 years.
5 years. That's great. Are you working or studying?
I doing both.
Both.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So yeah, it sounds like you have a really good English, so that's good. And what about grammar? Do you think that you have a good, I mean, because there are some people who learn English to, how to speak it, but sometimes they don't know many things about grammars, rules. What about you?
Sometimes I get confused with the time. Sometimes I'm saying something is in present, but I'm saying in past. And I know I have to practice more of that. But I'm good at reading, listening, and I do my best when I'm writing.
Okay, that's great. It's great. Congratulations for that.
Mhm.
So, is there another person who wants to talk? Want to talk?
Teacher, in my case, I've just finished my speaking encounters, but I think I choose the wrong choice because the people that they are in the speaking encounters, they have fluid. They are very fluid, very.
Yeah.
I think I have a basic level. I don't know.
Well, but
Like,
continue. Yeah.
like uh, I think I'm very good in writing and reading, but my speaking is not very good right now.
Okay, but you're in second semester, so you still have a lot of time. But in your case, you don't have like a basic speaking because some people say, no, teacher, I have basic speaking, but you don't really have that level. Because I just heard you and I realized that you have a good English. I mean, you can say what you are thinking, so that's good. And as I told you, you are in second semester, so you have like 4 more years. So the things that I recommend you is to be humble. Why? Because I don't know why, but when we are learning a new language, I don't know what happens, but we think that we are like the best. That happened to me. When I before studying my university, I had the opportunity to study in an institute, and I thought that I learned, that I had like the best English, but I didn't have really good English. When I studied at the university, I used to criticize my teachers, I used to criticize my classmates, and that was a mistake because I don't know, I don't know, but not only happened to me that, yeah, maybe that happens to many students, but I know that you is not your case. I'm sure about that. I don't know. Somebody wants to tell anything else?
Buenas noches.
Yerly,
Bueno,
good evening.
bueno, yes. Mi nombre es Yerly Sánchez, me presento. Soy estudiante de licenciatura en lenguas extranjeras con énfasis en inglés. Yo sí tengo que ser un poco honesta. De pronto tengo un inglés un poco más básico. Em, Puedo entender algunos textos largos, me puedo ir guiando de pronto porque tengo amplio conocimiento de algunas palabras y se me hace un poco más fácil interpretar lo que estoy leyendo en inglés. Tengo sí falencia en el sentido de que una conversación como tal no la puedo sostener. De pronto sí escuchando logro entender, identificar unas que otras palabras y de ahí puedo deducir de qué me están hablando. pero como tal una conversación fluida, no lo puedo tener. Estoy en este proceso porque sí me gusta y toda la vida me ha gustado mucho lo que es el idioma inglés. Em, y sé que con práctica lo que sí pido es un poquito de pronto de paciencia en ese tema, pero bueno, eso era lo que quería decir.
Ok, no, no, gracias, gracias por tu aporte. Igual, ya saben, muchachos, que, a ver, ustedes están empezando, están en segundo semestre. Semestre estudié con unos amigos que no tenían el mejor nivel de inglés también y salieron súper bien. Obviamente, recordarles que eso es el inglés es de mucha, mucha, mucha práctica, muchísima práctica, estar viendo películas, viendo series, encontrar una buena forma de aprender. Entonces, como les dije, bueno, yo les voy a dar ciertos tips, también les voy a dar ciertos tips que una cosa es lo que le dicen a uno en la universidad de cómo enseñar, pero uno como que se va dando cuenta de ciertas cosas. A mí me pasó mucho eso. So I'm going to switch to English because when I was at the university, a lot of teachers told me that I shouldn't teach like, you know, the rules, the grammar rules. For example, if I'm going to teach simple past, that they told me that I don't have to say like, okay, today we are going to learn the simple past. Yeah, that's true. But they told me that I never had to teach the grammar. Like, for example, you have to use subject plus verb plus complement. They told me that. They told me that, for example, if I'm going to teach like grammar, like simple, like a tense like simple past, I should link it with another topic, which is correct. Yeah, for example, with the sports, and I say I played soccer, I don't know, last week. Wait a minute. Just give me 1 second. Well, they told me that I never had to teach the structures. But I realized that when I started to teach English, that if I don't teach that, I don't know. Well, the times that I taught the structures, I don't know, but the students learn too much. Yeah. So for me, this is very important to focus in the tenses because when you have clear the tenses in your mind, you can create some sentences. If you know, for example, how to talk about the past, so you can talk about the past. So if you know that the future is with will, with going to, so you say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to the past, I played. So I think that this is very important. And this is, I don't know if that is going to happen to you, but maybe you're going to have some teachers who tell you that. So it's okay. You can try. You can try a lot of methodologies, and that's okay. But my advice to that you try to find a new way, you know. So now what are we going to do? So we are going to focus in one tense that maybe most of you already know it, but it's going to help you with something that you're working on. I mean, because I saw that in the task 3, you're going to talk about the simple past. Maybe some of you already know this tense, but it's okay. So we are going to do it. Okay, I'm going to also give you some tips about pronunciation because some students consider that the weaknesses are like speaking because they don't have a good pronunciation, but it's okay. I mean, you can do it because not only the pronunciation but also the intonation, because here in Colombia we have like different accents. For example, when I started the university, I used to speak English like Santanderiano. So I don't know how that sound, but maybe that was awful, because I remember that when I was at the university, one teacher told me once, wait a minute, you are speaking good, but you speak like a Santanderiano. And I say like, I don't know how that sounds, but maybe that was awful, no? So my name is William. Well, we don't speak like this, but it sounds difficult. No? Well, because here, for example, it's difficult to control that accent, and also for people who live in Medellin, in I don't know, maybe in the costeños, maybe they also have that problem. So my advice that you try to imitate some people. For example, if you like to, I like to watch some interviews by Will Smith. I don't know, but I like that kind of accents. So what I do is that I watch a video and I try to stop it and I try to imitate what they are saying. And I record myself. And then I listen to me and I say, okay, I'm pronouncing well, I'm not pronouncing well. So that's a good advice. And you have to focus when you're about the pronunciation if you want to talk, if you want to sound better, there's some letters that you have to focus on. So these are the P, T, R, and maybe this TH. If you improve the pronunciation in P, T, R, and TH, you're going to sound a little bit better, yeah? Because it's not the same that you say, I have a car, I have a car. Well, that's the R for Spanish. But if you say, I have a car, R, the R is very, very important. It's not run, because there are a lot of people who say run, run. So I think that my advice that you are going to do right now is that, for example, try to say car, car, or carro. Try to say it a lot of times, car, but try to put the tongue like a little bit back. So put it down. It's not car. Entonces, mi consejo, muchachos, para esa parte es justamente, como les decía, que mejoren la pronunciación en las P's, las T's y las R's, ¿sí? Con eso va a cambiar muchísimo su pronunciación. Exageren al principio. Yo les decía que, por ejemplo, pueden decir la palabra carro varias veces. Carro. Fíjense dónde toca la lengua al paladar. Carro, toca la lengua a la parte de arriba, cerca a los dientes. Entonces, lo que podemos hacer es mandar la lengua hacia atrás y decir el mismo carro. Car. Esa es la R inglesa. La R es fundamental para todos los idiomas. El francés también es más cultural. Oh, je parle français très bien. Bon, no, je parle français très bien, mais d'ailleurs très important. La R es muy importante en todos los idiomas. Va a sonar un poco mejor. Entonces, lo mismo en inglés es súper importante. No es lo mismo decir run, decir run. Car. ¿Ya? The same happens with the T. It's not time. Time is time. The T in English is time. Okay, so you're going to improve that. So R, T, and the P, of course, is not people. It's not people. People. P, T, P, R. Si ven que si mejoramos, digamos, en estas tres, vamos a mejorar mucho en la cuestión de la pronunciación. Also with the TH, because, you know, there are some people who say, thank you. I mean, remember that is thank you. So you have to exaggerate with your tongue. Thank you. Yeah. So remember time, P. Actually, I just remember that I have a video here by Will Smith. This is a speech that he did. It was in the last Oscars, I think so. Do you remember when he slapped Chris Rock? Do you remember that moment when he slapped Chris Rock? I think that was in the Oscars. I don't remember very well. Do you remember that part? Can you please tell me that? When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, there was an actor. ¿Alguien se acuerda cuando Will Smith le dio la cachetada a Chris Rock? Eso fue como en unos Oscars, si no estoy mal.
Sí, señor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so look at this. I'm going to show you this short video, but it's going to help you to understand the P's, T's, and R. Quiero que se enfoquen en este video que van a ver aquí Will Smith, cómo él exagera, obviamente también depende de las regiones, pero quiero que vean aquí cómo él exagera las P's y las T's a la hora de hablar, y obviamente las R's. Just give me 1 second, please. My laptop is a little bit slow.
I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a
Okay, are you listening to the video or no?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Yes.
to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people. Now, I know to do what we do, you got to be able to take abuse. You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. So do you realize the way that he exaggerate the P's and T's? So
To love,
look at the difference. To love people. Es la diferencia pronunciando la T como la pronunciamos nosotros en español. To love people. Así, to love people. To love people. Cambia totalmente la...
to love people, and to protect people.
Protect people. I just wanted to show you that part. And the idea is that you try to exaggerate that part, okay? Como les digo, intenten exagerar un poco. Al principio de pronto va a sonar un poco exagerado, pero es mientras le cogen el ritmo, exagerar esas P's y esas C's. Entonces, bueno, les iba a decir aquí rápidamente esto, lo de justamente el pasado. Yo sé que algunos ya lo conocerán súper bien, de pronto otros no. Well, that's okay. So I'm going to teach you about something about the simple past. Remember that. So when we want to talk about the simple past, it's something that I did and finished, something that I studied in the past and already finished. So for this one, we need a subject and a verb. Well, here we have some regular verbs and irregular verbs. The regular verbs, so we have to add ed to the verb. So that's easy. So for example, yo empecé, I started, or I started. Yeah. So if you want to say yo trabajé, so I worked. Look at this. Give me one. I worked. I worked. Yeah. So just give me 1 second, please. Just thinking. Okay, I worked. Yeah. In this case, you don't pronounce the E. It's not work it. It's worked. It's worked. If you want to say ella cocinó, she cooked. She cooked. En este caso, en los verbos regulares no pronunciamos la E, ¿no? Well, there are some cases, but I'm going to teach you that in 1 minute. So this is when we are talking about affirmative sentences, yeah? So another, like for example, we played soccer like yesterday. Yes, we played soccer yesterday. So we need a subject, a verb, we put the ed, and that's all. We have the complement. That's easy, right? Now for the negative sentences, the only thing that you gotta do is that you have to put did not or didn't. So for example, yo no empecé, I did not start, or I didn't start. Yeah. In this case, here I have, wait a minute. Yo trabajé, I worked. Let's say, yo trabajé last night, anoche. I worked last night. Yo no trabajé. I didn't work. But the verb goes normal because the did already changed the verb into past. Pero recuerden que el verbo solo cambia en oraciones afirmativas. En negativas y en pregunta el verbo queda normal. So I worked last night, I didn't work. For questions is piece of cake. Yeah, because in this case we have did. The only thing that you gotta add is did. So empezaste, did you start? Did she? Did we? Did you? That's really, really easy. So in this case, if you want to ask yourself, trabajé ayer? So you say, did I work? Well, anoche, last night. Did I work last night? So here we have the question, the negative, and the affirmative, and that's all. And the same happens with the other subjects. Just give me 1 second. Okay, the same happens. So for example, how did you ask me? Tu mamá, I don't know, no verb. Tu mamá aprendió francés el año pasado? How do you ask me that question?
Did you, okay, did your mother learn French last year?
Okay, that's good. So we can say mother. Remember, here we have mother. Here we have mommy. Like oh, here we have mom. It's very used mom. Yeah. So did your mom?
Did your mom learn?
Yeah. Learn.
French last.
Yeah. Just French last year. French last year. It's correct. If you want to say sí, ella aprendió. That's all. Yes, she.
Yes, como she did, o no
Well,
se puede responder así.
yeah, we have a short sentence that is, yes, wait a minute. It's, yes, she did. I always say to my students that when you have a really good English, you can use that. You can say, yes, she did, and you can compliment. But if you are beginners, you should do the long answer, because sometimes people get confused and they say, yes, they did learn. I mean, it's not totally incorrect, because you can say that. But remember, this is the short way and this is the long way. Yo siempre le digo justamente a los estudiantes que empiecen a utilizar las oraciones largas, porque muchos empiezan con las formas cortas. Yes, I do. Yes, she did. Yes, I... Y cuando empiezan a decir la forma larga, ahí se confunden y meten el dito donde no es. Well, that sometimes happens. But yeah, this is, you can do it. So yes, she did. In negative, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. Or she did not learn. And the verb goes normal. Or the short answer is no, she didn't. That's all. And this is the simple past. Ese es el pasado. Yo no sé por qué lo complican tanto en los colegios. Yo no sé por qué en los colegios ve uno 11 años de inglés, más de 11 años, porque ahorita con preescolar, con párvulos, yo le dicté justamente a niños de párvulos, niños que no sabían ni hablar ni español y tocaba enseñar inglés. Es una experiencia chévere, es súper chévere. Un poco desgastadora, pero chévere. Pero no sé por qué se ven tantos años de inglés y, bueno, no sé, pero no se aprende mucho. Cuando yo les explico todos esos temas a estudiantes que no sabían nada, pues dicen, pues es súper fácil, porque uno no lo ve así. Pues en este caso ya saben que el verbo cambia solo en afirmativas, en preguntas, el verbo anormal y en negativas también. Eso pasa para todos, para ella, para nosotros, bueno, pasa obviamente para todos. Y, bueno, okay, that's the regular verbs. That happens with the regular verbs. So do you have any question about this moment? ¿Tiene alguna duda, alguna pregunta hasta el momento?
No.
Okay, that's great. Because now we are going to learn, well, there are some exceptions, yeah? So remember that, for example, with the verb study, the verb study, if the verb ends with Y and the last, the last letter is a consonant. So if the verb ends with consonant and Y, so it's changed to studied, yeah? For example, cry, well, it is cried. ¿Sí? Cuando estamos hablando de verbos regulares y termina en Y y la anterior es una consonante, nada, simplemente lo cambiamos por it. Yeah, carry. So, carried. Yeah, but if the verb ends with Y, if the last letter is a vowel, it doesn't change. We say play. Well, Y is different now. I'm not going to put that example. So, studied, cry, carry. But I got a question for you guys. When do we pronounce the, in this case, we don't pronounce E, but when do we pronounce the E? In what kind of verbs?
Teacher, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question because I can hear.
Okay, my question for you is that, as I told you, pronounce the, in this case, we don't say like, we don't say worked. We don't say cooked. So my question for you is, when do we pronounce the E? In what cases? In what verbs? ¿En qué verbo se pronuncia esa E? No? You don't remember that?
I don't know, teacher.
Okay, so look at this. What happens in this case? Wanted. No, wanted, if you want to say it.
Needed.
So why? What do you think that in these cases we say, we don't say wanted, we say wanted or wanted. We say needed, visited. So my question for you is that one. Why in these cases we pronounce the E?
I don't know. Why is the reason?
Okay, the reason is,
Teacher,
Tell me.
Excuse me. Yes, when the verb is in past simple,
Mhm,
you can add ed, and the
mhm.
pronunciation is wanted. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, just when the verb ends with T or D, reason we pronounce the D. So when the verb ends with, let's just give you 1 second, with T or D, we are going to pronounce that one. So in this case, work, we say work because it doesn't end with that letter. So when the verb, just take that in mind, so keep that in mind. When the verb ends with T or D, we pronounce that one. So wanted, needed, visited. Cuando el verbo irregular termina en T o en D, pues así, en ese caso pronunciamos la E en esos casos. So wanted, needed, and visited, that's all. Yeah. So now we are going to move on to the regular verbs. I mean, they're not difficult. Well, just a little bit, but they're not really difficult. So what happens? Here we have some regular verbs. So regular verbs that the only thing that you have to add is ed. But there are others irregular verbs that change completely. Yeah, for example, in the case of eat, so it changed to ate. In the case of drink, it changed to drunk. O sea, hay unos verbos regulares, que es fácil porque le colocamos la ed, pero hay unos verbos irregulares que cambian totalmente. So I got a question for you guys. Is there a way that we can identify when the verb is regular or irregular? Do you think that there is a way?
Have a good memory.
Exactly. That's the way. That's the way, exactly. Yeah, there's not like a rule. There's not a rule that says that some verbs are regular, other verbs are regular. No, no hay una forma de decir, porque siempre los estudiantes cuando uno les está enseñando esto, profe, ¿y cómo hacemos para identificar cuándo un verbo es regular o cuándo es irregular? Tener una buena memoria. Y es enfocarse en los verbos, pues los más utilizados, porque es que hay muchos profesores que se enfocan en su lista de verbos, siempre dan esa lista de verbos, y está aquí la lista en pasado, en participio, y verbos que no son tan utilizados. A mí me gusta siempre hacerles una lista al principio a los estudiantes de unos 50 verbos que son como más utilizados, de regulares, regulares, como para que lo tengan en cuenta. Pero igual la forma es exactamente la misma. So look at this. I don't know, did your dad go to Barbosa last month? Tu papá, okay, just I missed one R. Tu papá fue a Barbosa el mes pasado? So yes, he did. You can say that. Or you can say, yes, he went to Barbosa last month. Okay, so the verb goes change in affirmative sentences. And in negative, you can say, no, he didn't. And you can say no the long way. He didn't go to Barbosa last month. Okay. Pasa exactamente el pasado. El pasado en sí, para mí, es de los que tienen la estructura más fácil. Porque pues todos se preguntan con did. No importa el sujeto. Lo único que cambia pues es el verbo irregular, que cambia totalmente. En ese caso, el verbo go cambia went, pero sí tiene la misma estructura, porque en negativas y en preguntas va exactamente igual. Justamente hay una parte que tienen que realizar ustedes así en el tax 3, I think so. So you have to do something about simple past. So another advice that I'm going to give you guys is that don't be afraid of, maybe some of you are saying or are thinking that you're going to teach to adults, so you're going to teach to teenagers, or maybe some people love to teach to children. I don't know. I want you to tell me that case. Would you like to teach to teenagers or children? What are your cases? Just tell me. Would you like to teach to children? When you finish your career, would you like to teach to children or maybe teenagers or maybe adults? I don't know.
Children's is more easy because children is a big memory. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's a good reason. But you know why? I don't know why many people say that it's better to teach to children. But yeah, they say that no, they have a really good memory. It is better to teach children to adults. But I don't know, but I prefer to teach to teenagers and adults. I think that they learn easier. I don't know, maybe if you teach this to I don't know, a children who is like 6 or maybe 10 years old, I don't know, but they don't, well, first of all, they're not interested in learning English. So that's the main reason. But they don't, I don't know, they don't catch all this grammar. But when I teach this to teenagers or adults, I consider that they learn it in a better way. Or what do you think? Have you ever taught? Maybe have you ever had any experience teaching? ¿Alguien aquí ya ha enseñado? Tell me, Camilo.
No, teacher, I never to teach
Never.
nothing.
Okay. Guys, just give me 1 second because in Zoom we have a limited time. So I'm going to send you a link one more time, okay? Espérenme un segundito, muchachos. Lo que pasa es que aquí Zoom normalmente solo son 40 minutos porque hasta mañana me van a dar el Zoom que es ya totalmente, que no se para. Entonces, ya les envío nuevamente un link acá al grupo. Espérenme para que nos conectemos acá nuevamente.